Thousands of high-performing e-commerce stores are seriously boosting their revenue through this one powerful strategy. The problem is there are millions of underperforming e-commerce stores out there that are not tapping into this one powerful tool, but not anymore. Stay with me as I reveal how to use Omnisend's email marketing campaigns and workflow automations to revolutionize your store's performance and to drive a massive revenue spike in your future. In this video, we'll explore how to use Omnisend for beginners. I'll guide you through creating campaigns to showcase your products and services. And then next, I'm going to show you guys how to set up workflow automations to re-engage with visitors, like the ones that add something to their cart and then they leave and don't come back. We'll also dive into setting up sign-up forms and segmenting your audience for effective email marketing. Finally, we'll also review the reports that Omnisend provides you to optimize your marketing campaigns. Now, the purpose of this video is to guide you through the basics of using Omnisend for your e-commerce store. We're going to be focusing on how to get you started without delving into any of the complex email marketing techniques. So if you'd like to learn more about those advanced strategies, go ahead and leave a comment down in the description, and I might make a video on that another time. But for today, I'm only going to walk you guys through how to use the actual software. All right, so let's get everything set up by creating an account with Omnisend and then connecting it to your website. And in order to do that, we're going to have to log into your WordPress website and first install the plugin. And then afterwards, we're going to open up a new tab and create an account with Omnisend on their website. When you have both of these opened up on both tabs, it makes the connection process so much easier. So just trust me. Let's go ahead and jump right in and do that right now. All right, so in order to download the plugin from your WordPress dashboard, which I'm assuming you've already logged in by now, you're going to go to the plugins tab and we're going to add a new plugin right here, which you'll notice I like opening things on new tabs all the time so I can bounce back to my dashboard if I need to open something else. Anyways, from here, we're just going to search for Omnisend, just like this. And it should be the first one that pops up for WooCommerce right here, email marketing for WooCommerce by Omnisend. So it's WooCommerce and Omnisend. That's the one you want. Click on install now. And then after that, we're going to click on activate. And if you'd like, you can also install this one right next to it as well, which is the newsletters, email marketing, SMS, and pop-ups by Omnisend. So we'll also install this one in just a second. Okay, perfect. So that one installed. We'll go right back over to add new plugin and search for Omnisend again. We'll go back over and we have this one right here, which is the second one. So we'll click on install now and then activate. Perfect. And so this is how Omnisend is going to connect to your WooCommerce store and automatically pull products from your store, as well as have pop-ups appear and everything. It's the way that it's going to connect. So very important we download those plugins. And now that we have them on your website, we're going to go over to Omnisend for WooCommerce right here. We'll go to the settings tab just like this under your plugins tab. And then from here, it's going to ask you to connect your account and create an account. And so we're actually going to go to a new tab and create our account. And then once we do that, all you have to do is click on connect and it'll automatically log in through that other tab, and so you're good to go. That's why I like doing it this way. So open a new tab and we're going to search for Omnisend. All right, and pick the first one right here. We've got Omnisend. We just allow all the cookies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start free right here, but they also have a pricing table that you guys can look at. I think it's like 16 bucks. Yeah, 16 bucks right here for the standard edition and then the pro edition. I'm going to be using the free version right over here for this video, okay? So the free version is what we're going to use. So $0. You get 250 contacts, 500 emails per month, 500 web notifications per month, and 50 published reviews on Shopify, and then $1 in free SMS to try. So that's basically just letting you try out the SMS option right there. When you go standard, you're obviously going to get a lot more stuff. I definitely recommend upgrading to standard eventually, but you might as well just try the free, see how long you can use it for. And if you start realizing that you're outgrowing the free version, you can always upgrade later. It's totally fine. So again, we're only using the free version today. So I'll close out of that and we'll say right here, start for free. And so once you start for free, it's going to ask how you want to sign in. So I'm just going to create an account with my Google account. And so I'll use this one right here. We'll say confirm. All right. And so now it's going to have your email automatically generated and we're going to put in a password. Just like this. So I've got my password ready to go. It's going to ask if we're going to be doing e-commerce or non-e-commerce, like brick and mortar. I'm going to say e-commerce because we're building an e-commerce website, or at least I have one. That's what this website is, by the way. And here, let me just show you guys super fast. This is not what my website's supposed to look like, but I'll check that out in a second as to why it's doing that. It's kind of weird, but there's always a glitch when you're building a website. Regardless, we're doing e-commerce. So I was just showing you that I had an e-commerce website already built for you, but we're going to agree to the terms and conditions, and then you can decide if you want to sign up for their marketing newsletter or not. That is completely up to you. We'll click on sign up from here. All right. So the next part of this is going to be entering your name, your store name, and examples here. So I've got Levi Hagen here. My store name, we're just going to call it CAPW Plant Shop, I guess. just like this. And then we have to get our store website, which would be my domain name. Really fast, let me go over to my settings tab here, and I'm gonna make sure that my permalinks are using post name. Okay, they are. So I'm not sure why my website is having this weird issue. Go ahead and copy your URL for your website. And so I'm assuming you guys already know how to open up your website, but if you don't, you click on your website name up here, and we're gonna copy your entire URL. There we go. I'll close out of that tab too. And we're gonna paste it right here, just like this. And then lastly, we have which platform are you using for your store? And so we get to choose the platform, and you can do Shopify, which is really cool. And if you guys are interested in a Shopify tutorial for Omnisend, let me know in the future. But since we're all WordPress on this channel, or at least that's what we usually do, I'm gonna do WooCommerce for today. And then you also get to choose if you're using a different marketing software before coming to them, which I'm just gonna say none, because this is a fresh website, so I'm not converting anything. I'm just going to start using Omnisend immediately. So click on continue. And then next they have to have your business information. So we'll put in a business address right here, 12345 Example Street. Obviously you want to put in a real address. I'm just going to put in a fake address and see if it lets me for now, just for an example. United States, just like this. And we have our time zone right here. Perfect. Oh, and we have to choose the state. That's where I missed it. So we'll go to Texas. Just like that. Cool. So we have my address in here, and obviously you want to put in your correct business address because this is what's going to pop up on every single email. We'll click on continue. It's going to take a moment to set up your account, and then you should be redirected to your Omnisend dashboard. And that's a good thing. So now we get to connect your store. It's right there. We'll go back to our dashboard, and a second ago, I accidentally closed out of that tab, but you'll just go over to your Omnisend tab. Let me refresh my WordPress dashboard really fast. You're going to go to your Omnisend for WooCommerce tab right here, and we're going to connect your account just like this. So it's going to ask, hey, do you want to log into Omnisend? It's going to automatically redirect you to this page right here, and you'll see it says create a pro portfolio at gmail.com. That's the email that I'm using for my Omnisend account. And so yes, that's what I want to use. We'll say approve. And because a second ago we put in my actual URL, Omnisend is automatically going to connect to this website, CAPW Plant Shop, as you can see, because that's what I called it. And so that is what it is displaying as, even though the domain name is not CAPW Plant Shop. But regardless, what's really cool is once you do that, we can actually close out of this tab because it's going to throw us back into our dashboard. The reason I have you guys do it this way is connecting from your WordPress dashboard is because once you do that, Omnisend is automatically going to pull your logo and your website colors, as you can see, which I think is the coolest thing. So it automatically pulled my logo color. It automatically pulled my dark gray and my light gray, which is what my website is using. Now, don't ask me why. Again, I can't show you because it's being a goofball at the moment. Command-Shift-C. Oops, let's see. Let me inspect the page real fast and do a hard cache reload and just see if that fixes the issue. If it doesn't, I just have to reinstall the template again, and I'll do that off camera in just a couple seconds here. But it's automatically pulling that color right here. So the light gray and the dark gray. It's going to automatically pull your font as well, the same fonts that you're using for your website. You know what? Give me 2 seconds and let me just fix this off camera. Okay, so off camera, I fixed the issue. I don't know why the template was being a goofball, but this is the website that I have installed for us today. It's just like a regular plant store, and it's literally just a template that I downloaded from Starter Templates. This isn't a website that I built. I didn't want to go crazy with it. I just wanted to show you guys you have to have an e-commerce store in order to actually have this kind of stuff. But anyways, this green is automatically pulling from your logo, of course, which is the logo here, as well as some green highlights on your website. If I wanted to, I could switch the green accent color to be the same red accent color that is used everywhere. That's completely up to you guys. And then the dark and the light is automatically pulling from this color right here, this gray color, and then this background gray color right here. That's the light, and then that's the dark. So it's really cool that Omnisend automatically pulls your colors and your fonts for you. After that, you guys can add some social links right here if you want to. You can choose what you want to add and then add your link here. But for now, I'm just going to leave those blank. It's pretty easy to do those yourself. So from there, it gives you a little preview on the right-hand side of how it's going to look, which obviously is the exact same color scheme as my website. So there's like the green, the gray, and then the dark gray text. There's like the green, the light gray, and then the dark gray text, obviously. It's totally pulling the same colors, so it instantly just brands your website for you. But anyways, once you guys are done, you can click on Save Brand Assets, and now you're taken back to your Omnisend dashboard. And so it's going to ask you to create, some basics right here, like a welcome welcome to new subscribers, recover abandoned carts, collect subscribers, and send your first email. I'm going to show you guys how to do all 4 of these things. So you don't have to go through the tutorial. I'm just going to show you guys a step by step. So we'll close out of that. So now we're in our Omnisend dashboard. So I'll go ahead and move on to the next step. All right, friends. So now we have our account with Omnisend connected to our website. So let's go ahead and jump back to Omnisend. Before we do anything inside of Omnisend, first we have to add some contacts to our list because you literally can't do anything if you don't have any contacts to email. So if you already have a large list that you've accumulated, then go ahead and just add it in the Audience tab. But if not, you can go ahead and use a form on your website and start calling people to sign up for those emails right now. For now, however, I'm just going to add a contact or 2 just so that I can show you guys how to use the software. And then you might be asking me, how do you do that? And that's totally fine. It's really easy. Just click on the Add Contacts button in the top corner, and then you have 4 options to upload from whatever file you may have. And it's pretty inclusive. You can upload from documents or files or from MailChimp or just manually if you want. So whatever you guys want to do. All right, friends, so the goal of this video is to just basically go tab by tab up here on the top, and I'll just go through each one of these and show you how to use each one of these. So we'll go dashboard, then campaigns, automation, forms, audience, and reports. So first things first is the dashboard, which we're not going to spend too much time on because honestly, it's the same as any other dashboard that you have on any other software. The only reason you have a dashboard is just to show you any notifications. It gives you an overview. It gives you usually a list of goals to like sign up things and stuff like that. So initially what you're going to see on a fresh account like this one is you're going to see goals, and it's going to tell you to, have different goals for your website and what you can try and do and all of that stuff. If you click on overview, you'll see an overview of all of your stats and everything that you need to keep track of. So you'll see revenue from Omnisend, you'll see total store revenue. You obviously have this integrated with your WordPress website because that's why the app is there. The plugin is what's doing all that work for you. So you'll be able to see right here on your dashboard, how much revenue you're making from Omnisend, how much you're making from your regular website and everything like that. So you guys can keep track of that stuff here. And then you also have the live view right here, which obviously we have no activity in the past 7 days because I haven't even sent out an email yet. And this is a fresh account. So that's the dashboard. We'll go ahead and move on to campaigns next. So let me explain what all 3 of these are first. The audience tab is separate and the reports tab is separate. So dashboard is where you just see all of your live information so you can keep up to date on every change that's happening to your website and to your campaigns and everything. Your audience is just a list of all of your emails that you have, as you can see. Now, I off camera went ahead and just added a few with some emails that I have here, just fake ones, and then obviously this one so that we can actually test the emails. So the audience tab just has a list of all of your audience. It's just a list of all the emails you have. The reports tab is what we'll go over later, but it's just going to show you different reports that you can export or create reports for different campaigns that you have. So that leaves campaigns, automation, and forms. So campaigns, essentially what a campaign is you are deciding to send an email to your customers without a trigger. Automation is you're sending an email to them with a trigger, or they did something to cause you to send them an email. And then forms are just contact forms where you ask them, hey, give me your email so that you can sign up for these 2. The campaigns and automation, right? So when I say forms and I click right here, I'm going to basically be creating what looks like this right here. So I'm creating this little enter your email and you get 15% off, right? That's where we would create a form. So you create a form, you say, get 15% off if you enter your email. They enter it. You get a new audience member, and they get 15% off their next order. You'll give them a coupon code or something. So that's what forms are. Campaigns, a good example, would be, you get an email and it says, check out our new summer collection, right? So here's an example right here. Check out our summer collection, or check out our fall collection, or check out this new lotion that we're just putting out, or this new bike that we're putting out, right? That's, you're basically advertising to them, but they didn't do anything to request that email, okay? Automation, on the other hand, is usually caused by a trigger. So you'll see automations, they have like this workflow where it's like, if this, then that, if this, then that, and if this, then that. And I'll explain all of that. But automations basically have to be triggered by the client first. So let's say the client adds something to their cart and then they leave and they don't check out. Well, Omnisend says, well, if the cart was abandoned, wait an hour and then send an SMS, like a text message 1 day later and say, hey, you left something in your cart. You should go check out. I'm sure you guys have gotten emails like this from any e-commerce website you've ever been to. We've all bought things online. We've all used Amazon before, and you'll get emails that say, hey, you left something in your cart. That's what automations are. It's because the client did something on your website, and then you have an automatic email response for that. Whether it be abandoned cart, abandoned checkout screen, it could be anything. So that's kind of what they are. So the next tab we have is campaigns, because we already talked about dashboard. So one by one, I'm going to actually go through an example for each of these. So we're going to create a new email campaign. And obviously this, if we went to the campaigns tab, like the audience tab, you would have a list of all of the current campaigns, but there aren't any because we're just getting started. So you have to create an email campaign right here. Click on it, and it's going to immediately ask you for all of the information of the email, because that's what we're doing is email marketing today, right? Okay, so the subject line, what is it going to be? Well, let's just pretend, I don't know, that we have a new succulent line coming out, or like a new, because we're selling cactus and plants and stuff like that, right? So let's just say that we have like this new succulent that we're selling right here. And I'm probably going to spell succulent wrong as well, so just bear with me. But let's just say new subject line is new succulents. Did I spell that right? Nice, I did. Okay, so new succulents. That is a terrible subject line, right? I suck at writing new subject lines. I usually use AI, or I'll put some thought into it. That's a terrible subject line for an email. So if you don't know what to put, you can click on this little button right here to generate a subject line for you. And Omnisend is gonna generate a whole bunch of options for you based on what you write right here. So maybe say something like, our new succulents for sale or something like that. So check out our new succulents for sale, generate lines, and it's going to generate a whole bunch of different options that you can use. So you've got new succulents available now, or check out our brand new succulents. Get your hands on the latest ones. Don't miss out on the succulents for sale. I think I'm just going to choose this one, the second one. Check out our brand new succulents. Click apply, and it's going to automatically insert it into the subject line of your email, right? And when I say subject line, you guys know what that means. I'm pretty sure everybody does. But when you go to your email, it will say right here, this is the subject line, right? Oh, and we see we already have an email from Omnisend. That's cool. But this is the subject line that we're creating. And then we have the from name and the to name and all of that stuff, right? So here's the sender's name, which, for example, this one is the subject line, and this is the sender's name right here. So this is from Richard at Omnisend, right? So we might want this sender's name to be something like CAPW Plant Shop is saying, check out our new succulents. And then the sender's email address is the automatic one that's from Omnisend, so you don't have to worry about that one. I think if you upgrade to one of the other plans, you can enter in a specific email, but for now, we're just gonna use Omnisend servers. Okay, so next we have the pre-header, which is basically just like a subtext, like a subtitle, short text that follows the subject line of your emails, and you guys could put in something right here. Brand new succulents for sale at affordable prices. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up as I go, by the way. There's obvious techniques in how you would want your subjects to be and everything, but today I'm just showing you how to use Omnisend, not how to use it like a pro, right? This is for beginners. So I'm just going to pull a lot of this out of my butt and just kind of make stuff up as I go. Next, we have the campaign name, and you'll see that this is for internal use only. So nobody is going to see the campaign name except for you. And this is basically just going to title it in the list when you're looking at Omnisend. So you can just call this new succulent campaign. Or maybe you want to say new succulent campaign for like spring of 2024. This is just for internal use. This is just for you to know which campaign this is so you can keep track of it. So that's why I'm saying spring 2024, right? And then you get to choose your language, and that's pretty much it. Now, obviously over here on the right-hand side, you get a little inbox preview. So you'll see that the sender's name says CAPW Plant Shop, and then my subject line says this right here. And then my pre-header is this right here, as you can see. So you might want your pre-header to be a little bit shorter so that it fits right here without disappearing. But I mean, most of these you'll see go full screen. Most people open up Gmail like this, so you do have quite a bit of space. Okay, so now we're done with our email settings. You can click on choose an email template right here. Next, Omnisend is the absolute best when it comes to email marketing campaigns because they have all of these templates that you can use, right? They look fantastic. You guys can pick which one looks best for you. Let's do over here under the goal, we're promoting a product, right? Which the product is a brand new succulent line, so let's do that. And then we'll see a bunch of options for us that we can use, right? We'll see this one looks kind of fancy. I kind of like this one. So we can preview it like this, and it should, it should automatically pull colors from your website, because you'll notice the phone is blue right there. It's going to automatically pull colors from my website. So there's the green, there's my logo. It's going to pull the colors like this. It's going to pull products from your website, or it should at least. Obviously, the template is still showing phones, but you get the idea. All of these templates will automatically merge into your style. So if I preview this one, I'll have my logo at the top. It's green. It's going to talk about shoes, obviously, or socks or whatever this is, but it uses all my colors and everything. And when I actually choose this template, it will automatically pull my own products from my store. So you guys can pick, oh, and you also get to see what it looks like on a cell phone, which is really cool. I think Omnisend is just such a great software. I'm telling you, it's like the best email marketing software that you can use. But anyways, let's go ahead and just use this template right here. So we'll click on use template. And so now we'll have like this little Omnisend tip. We can do that later. So now we are inside of the email customizer. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side is all the widgets that you can use, and you'll go to Quick Add to use your widgets. For example, if I wanted to add text, you literally just drag it in here, and you could say, you know, oh, it's not typing. Okay, of course it's glitching out right now, but you guys get the idea. You can just add text or a header or something like that. You can add a button like this. Now there's a Shop Now button. You could add whatever you want to. So we're going to customize this email similar to like if you're using Elementor to build your website, which I'm assuming most of you guys, if you already have a website built, that you've used Elementor before. But regardless, let me just give you the basics of how to use this really fast. Up here in the top right corner, you have the undo and redo buttons, which are really important. Like if I accidentally delete this section right here, oops, and I don't want to build it from scratch again, I can just undo, and now it's back, right? You can always click on an entire section like this, and you can up or down arrow it, and so now this picture is above the one above, and now it's below again. Well, it's glitching out. Hang on. Go down. There we go. Our staff picks is right here. We could move this one up if we wanted to. So you guys get the idea. You can reorder the email however you want. If you ever want to edit something, you just click on it, and then on the right-hand side, you have your options. So if I wanted to replace my logo, which there's absolutely no reason to, because it automatically pulled the logo from my store, which is this logo right here. But if I wanted to pull the logo, for example, I could replace it with a different one for some reason. I can choose the alignment over here, so there's left, right, center, right? Which there's not much reason to change the layout of these emails unless you want to go super customized. But for the most part, for beginners, I mean, you leave this the way it is, and you're pretty good to go. Next, we have this right here, which is a menu. You guys can remove this if you'd like. For example, right over here, I don't really have a menu. I just have the store page with plants and cactus. So if you want, you could either remove this menu and create your own, or you can just remove it completely. Oh, there's 4 items, so I'm just going to remove the whole thing. There we go. So if you don't have those categories, you don't have to add them. But if you do, you can go ahead and keep those there and just change the titles. You guys can change text by just clicking on it and then literally typing onto the email just like this. So you could say our top picks right here if you really want to. You guys can change a picture by just clicking on it, and then you can replace the image with something else, which, by the way, I didn't come prepared with a bunch of pictures. So if you don't have pictures ready to go, you can always open up a new tab real fast and go to a website called Unsplash. Unsplash.com, and this is where you can get a bunch of free images. Yeah, let's do this. We'll go and change it to free for the license, and then orientation will be landscape. And, oh, perfect. They already have, like, plants that look like they're ready to go. So I'm going to take this one right here, download it for free to my computer. We'll close out of this guy. And now I can just upload it. So we'll replace the image, right, just like what we were about to do. We're going to upload from my computer, and I think it's in my downloads folder. There it is. Upload. And then we'll click on it and say select. And that's how you switch the picture. And if I wanted to switch it to something else, I would just say replace again, and then I would pick a different picture on my website, right? But we'll just select that same picture. So it's automatically not gonna pull the correct images, but the products should automatically get pulled. For example, if I were to click right over here, okay, so this one is not gonna actually select automatic products. We have to enter in our own. So instead of clicking on one and replacing the picture, click on the gray area out here, just selecting this whole section. And what we can do is go over here to pick products from our store. So watch this, I click on this. It's gonna automatically pull all of the products from my store. So if we go back to my store and we go to products, right, you'll see that I have all of these products. I mean, there's money, aluminium, but I don't even know how to say half of these. But then if we go back to Omnisend, we've got aluminium, ball cactus, Boston. Yeah, you guys get the idea. Wow, those are some crazy names. But you get the idea. It's automatically pulling from my store, which is just the coolest freaking thing. So that's how Omnisend works. So we say pick products from the store, and let's just pick 4 of them. Let's pick these 4. You can either pick manually, or you can go from all products to different categories or which ones you have in stock. You can search products, however you want to do it. Click on add, and so now this email is customized. It says our staff picks. Let's go ahead and click on that really fast and center the text so it's right here in the middle. So that looks good. Scroll on down, we've got our cactus picture. We'd want to change this text, a succulent for every taste or something like that. The shop now button right here, you'll see it's linked to the account website. So when you click on shop now, it should just take you straight to your website. We can actually preview that. Here, let me go over here. We can click on preview by clicking on the little down arrow right here, and it's going to open up a preview of the email as if we just opened it as a customer. Click on shop now, and it literally takes you to the website, which is really cool. But if you don't want it to take you to the website, so click on this little X button in the top right to exit the preview. If you don't want that button to just go straight to your homepage, and you want it to go to the shop page, you would just go over here to link to, and instead of using your account website, delete that, go to your website, go to the store page, just like this, and you would copy this URL right here, and we would just paste it right here. There we go. And so now that we have that here, we can preview again. preview. And so now when someone opens this email and they click on, ooh, I want to look at the succulents, shop now, it takes them straight to the store page where they can shop for succulents. Do you see how that works? Super easy to use. Okay, close out of that. So now you guys know how to change pictures. You know how to change text. You can change the logo if you want, but it's automatically pulled, so I wouldn't do that. Scroll on down. We know how to click on the background to select this whole area, and we can go over here and choose those specific products from our website. We've got layout type, which you can choose. Right now it's a grid. We can go to a list like this, or we can do an opposite list, which I personally like the grid. I think that looks really good. You can also undo and go back to the original. Hang on. There we go. Go back to the original just like this. I think that looks really good. Oh, because it was the number of columns. You can increase it to 3 if you want, or just 2. You guys get the idea. So you can play around with layout. You can play around with what's actually visible inside of your product card. So if you don't want the image, for example, you turn that off. You guys can customize your emails exactly the way you want. And then down here, you'll see it says a whole bunch of like this short code where it says it's automatically pulling your account name, your account address, your account city. This email was sent to your contact email right there. That's all short code. Don't touch it. But you can touch your social icons over here if you want to, and you can choose which ones to add and which ones to remove, right? So once you guys are done customizing your email, if you want to add something, of course, just go to quick add and you can add more text, more images, a product listing, a product recommender. You can add another menu. So if you wanted that menu back, you can just add the menu right here. You can add, so much stuff. So it's completely up to you guys. But once you guys are done, you hit save and choose recipients. And so this is where having subscribers on your account makes a difference, because if you didn't have subscribers, this button would be grayed out. You wouldn't be able to review campaign and send. And we'll talk about segments in a second here when we get to the audience tab, okay? So for now, you can choose between all subscribers or different segments, and you would have to select what segments, but we don't have any created. So I'm just gonna send it to all people, which there's 3 people on my website that are subscribed. So we can send a test email really fast, and it'll ask, where do you wanna send it? So I'm gonna send it to my email, and we'll say send. All right, success, it waits in your inbox. So let's go ahead and refresh my website or my email here, and we'll just refresh one more time. Now, you might have to check to make sure that you're not going into the spam folder, because my email might think that my personal website is spam, which it is, because here it is. But regardless, you'll see that it says preview because this is not the actual email, because we sent a test email, right? That's what we did. It's a test email. But you get the idea. We'll click on this and we have our email here, which obviously is not working at the moment, but that's okay. We'll fix this soon. Report as not spam. We can throw it back into our inbox. So anyways, once you guys send a test email and you actually like how it looks, then you would review the campaign and you have some settings here. First of all, campaign booster. So do you want to automatically resend your campaign to subscribers who missed it initially, which enhances your reach by, targeting unengaged recipients. So you guys can turn this on if you want to. And then the email booster, you guys can choose, a different subject line. You can edit content here if you guys want to, which I'll just leave that off for now to keep things simple. You guys can edit the settings right here for the email. You can edit the recipients. So again, it'll take you back to this screen, but we already said we want all subscribers. So we'll go back to review the campaign. And then lastly, we have send. Do you want to send it now or do you want to schedule it for later? And you can set when you want this email to send, which is it's just so intuitive having Omnisend. I'm just always so impressed using it. But I'll just say send now, and we'll say send now. And now you'll notice that campaigns are immediate, right? You write an email and then you send it out to people. Next, what we're going to work on is automations, but I'm probably going to skip to when this is done because obviously it has to render your email, make sure everything's good. So it's going to load and then send it out to everybody. So I'll cut to when that's done. Okay, perfect. So now you'll see that the campaign will be sent shortly. It's good to go. So we can view all of our campaigns. And so now when you go to the campaigns tab, you'll see a list of all of your current campaigns. And if you remember that internal note, do you guys remember this? Here, let's duplicate this real fast just so I have it on a new tab for you guys. There we go. And we'll open it here. If you guys remember, oh, hang on, copy. Where's my edit button? I keep forgetting. I know I'm able to edit this one. Oh, maybe I'm not. Well, regardless, if you guys remember when we were creating it, oh, maybe because it's already sent, I can't edit. That's hilarious. But when I was going ahead and creating this one, remember in the internal notes field, we titled this? That's what's popping up on your list, by the way. So there's that for you guys. So that's how you create a campaign. And it's already been sent. You guys can see when it was sent to how many people. It was sent to 3. What's the open rate? So now I can see this is the email that was sent. All of my buttons should be working. If I click on shop now, it should take me to my website store, immediately to the product. right? Because I just clicked on the aluminum plant right here. And when I click on shop now, it took me straight to it, right? If I click on shop now, that button takes me to the website. You guys get the idea. Obviously, you'd want to change phone cases right there, but remember how all of this was short code down below, but it automatically pulls the correct information from your Omnisend account? Well, that's what's displaying down here. So you guys can pay attention to how you guys want your emails to show up. You guys get the idea. So now I can go back to Omnisend. Let's refresh the page real fast and see if, yeah, there we go. So the open rate, 1 out of 3 people opened it, right? Because I just opened it in my email, and the other 2 recipients are fake emails, so I can't go and open it. You'll see I already have a 33% open rate because that's 1/3 of 3 people, right? So that's pretty cool. It instantly is paying attention to how many people are opening the email, which means that this email, Create a Pro Portfolio, is an active subscriber while the other 2 are not active. So if we go back to audience, you'll see that I have, these 3 people here, subscribe, and unsubscribed, but you should see a status. I guess you don't. Read about subscription status right here. This guy is obviously going to be inactive while these 2 aren't. And that will make a lot more sense when we create segments in just a little bit, because segments can be based on the active status of your contacts. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But regardless, that is how you guys can create campaigns. Okay, so next let's talk about how you can create automations, right? So this is how you go in, out of the blue, you just email your clients and say, hey, there's a new succulent, come check it out. Right? Automations are always going to be in response to a trigger, okay? For example, a cart abandoned. Now, the most common ones that you see would be cart or checkout page that is abandoned. So if I click on preview and start a workflow, you'll see that Omnisend is immediately going to say, hey, you should go ahead and automatically just set these both up. Abandon cart and checkout. Might as well. You'll see that the customer abandons a cart or the customer abandons a checkout, regardless of which one it does. So for example, if I were to go to the shop and I was to, add this to my cart, just like this, and then I close out of the page and I don't go back. Or if I was going to go to the checkout page, right? So I'm on the checkout page, but then I close out of the website, right? Regardless of which one someone does, what Omnisend is going to do is it's going to understand that someone just did that. So they just left something in the cart and then closed out of the website. It's going to wait 1 hour. Then it's going to send an email that says, hey, there's items in your cart and they're selling out fast. You should probably go buy them. And then it's going to wait 11 hours. And then it's going to send another email. So if they didn't go and check out and it's still an abandoned cart, it'll say, your cart misses you. Go check out. Then it'll wait another 12 hours. And then if nothing happens, you can decide to add something or just completely stop the chain. It's up to you guys. But right off the bat, Omnisend is asking, do you want to just automatically set these 2 up? You don't even have to build them yourself. So if you just say yes, continue setup, it's going to ask, do you want to use SMS, which is text message, as well as email, or just email, which I'm just going to do email for today. Say start workflow, and immediately, oh, just kidding. Fantastic. It already created both of them and they're active. Done. But we can also view the workflow. So now if we go to Automation tab, you'll see that we have a list of all of the workflows, and one of them is abandoned checkout and one of them is abandoned cart. So let's click on one. You click on abandoned checkout, for example. So abandoned checkout, this is the order of operations right here. So this is a very standard layout for email automations. Omnisend isn't the first one to do this, but it's very intuitive and super easy to understand. You'll just see event 1 connecting to event 2, connect to event 3, connect to event 4. You guys see this, right? Super easy to understand. Okay. You'll see that the first option, customer enters the workflow when they start their checkout, right? So when I clicked on checkout, I was automatically put into this workflow. Customers exit the workflow when they place an order. So this workflow will cease to exist if I were to actually click on pay now and place my order. But because this is a abandoned checkout, obviously it starts when they enter the checkout and it doesn't end until they buy something, and it will continue to follow through this workflow, right? So we're basically creating a program, if you want to kind of think of that. So the trigger event right here, start the workflow after the checkout wasn't updated for 1 hour. So a customer enters the checkout page and then they don't do anything for 1 hour. Trigger activated, move to the next option. An email will be sent after 1 hour. The email says this, subject line, items are in your cart and they're selling fast. And you can change this to say whatever you want. Pre-header, you guys know what that is already. You can change this to say whatever you want. The sender's name is CAPW Plant Shop. Good to go. Sender's email address. It's going to obviously come from Omnisend because we're using Omnisend, so you can just leave it. You'll see an example preview of what it's going to look like. It's going to say, what happened? You left something in your cart. You should go complete your order. And this button will automatically link to their checkout screen. It's the coolest thing with Omnisend, okay? We can either edit the content of the email, send a content or a test email, or just click on update and save our work. Okay, so again, they start the trigger, and here's all the settings for the trigger. Then, if 1 hour of not doing anything, it'll go to the next email, which sends this email. And then after this email, wait 11 hours. If nothing happens and they don't check out, right, they haven't exited the workflow by placing an order, then move on to the next thing, which is another email. So 11 hours later, they get a second email. And it looks like this. This is all the text that you can change, right? Send a test or edit the content and then update. Now again, wait 12 hours. And if nothing happens, send this last email. Hurry up, your items in your cart are about to expire. Don't forget them before they're gone. You know, you guys can edit all the same settings. And then once that last email sends, do you want to wait anymore or just exit the workflow? By this time, you've already sent them 3 emails that are reminders to go buy everything. If they haven't done it by now, I would recommend just exiting the workflow. And Omnisend has been doing this for a really long time. They're really good at knowing, hey, it's probably a good time to exit. So you can trust their templates to do really good jobs for you, okay? However, first let me talk about editing the individual email, then we'll talk about how to edit this workflow, okay? Because there's 2 things. Okay, so let's say that someone triggers the event and now the first email is going to be sent. The reason I wanted to say that it's separate is because once I click edit content, don't get overwhelmed, but it's going to throw you into the email editor that we were inside of when we were in the campaign tab. So if you guys remember when we were in the campaign and we were editing and customizing the email, when you click edit content, you get to customize the email that you just saw a preview of over here. Oh, it's going to give you a little tutorial like, hey, this is how you can make your first sale. Go away. You guys already know you can go to quick add and add some more text or something like that. You guys can change things by clicking right here and you can start typing immediately. You can change the button, change the products that are displayed. But you'll notice that this section, it says it's going to select product details will be filled in automatically, which means it's going to pull products to recommend while saying complete your order. So you really don't need to customize this that much. But like if you wanted to add like a background picture up here, for example, you totally could. You know, you could go over here to background, I don't know, go image. Let's just add that same succulent picture again. You get the idea. You can customize this to be however you want, which it's funny, you can barely see the succulent back there, but hey, there is a succulent with my logo. Finish editing. Once you click on finish editing, it's going to take you back out into the workflow, as you can see. So we just customized this email, and so now you can see that picture in the background, right? So when you click on edit content, you get thrown inside of this email to customize it. So then how do you edit the workflow? Whenever you click out here, that setting goes away because you're not actually editing a specific item like this, as you can see. Okay, so that's how you can edit the email and customize it, but now you have all these flow options over here on the left. You obviously can create a new email, so wait 11 hours. Let's just say I add another delay right here, and then I add an email in between. Right? So now I just created a new email in between this whole workflow. That's kind of the example that you would use, but I'm going to delete this one and I'm going to delete this one. But if you guys want, you can add a new email, a new text message, or a new push notification. Over here, you've got flow actions. A delay is just this. So I could say, oh, you know, in between the trigger and this, it says to wait 1 hour. I could add another, 2 hours. So I could come over here and say, wait another, 2 hours, update. So now trigger starts, wait 1 hour, and then wait 2 more hours, and then send this email, which I'm going to delete because it's dumb. But you guys get the idea, right? I mean, if you wanted to edit the trigger hour, the 1 hour right there, you guys could change that over here in the settings, which I think might be trigger filter. Yeah, there it is. So 1 hour, you could change this to 2 hours, for example, update. So now it says 2 hours right here. It's very simple. You just click on it and you can make your changes over here on the right. But over here, you've got delay. You have tag contact, right? So you can add this one in here and it's basically just going to tag someone specific from your contact list right here. And you can literally add tags. And I don't need to get into all of that right now, but you can tag a contact here. We'll remove that. You can split. So let's say there's like a yes and a no, or it worked and it didn't, or they opened it and they didn't, or, however you want to do it. Add a split right here. So here, let's actually delete that and add the split after the time. Delete both paths. Yes. By the way, what I just did was, once you guys have them here, you can go over here and create another workflow. And it's the same thing as the Campaigns tab. You have a bunch of custom templates. You can have a welcome template. You can see how many emails long it is, which this one is 3, abandoned checkout. And you'll see that abandoned checkout has 3 emails. There's the first one, the second one, and the third one, right? So this is the workflow. Okay, so let's add a split. Let's say, wait 1 hour, send the first email. Wait 11 hours, and then we can add a split. We can add a condition to the split, and then we can add whether if it's yes, send the next email. If it's no, do something else or exit the workflow, like end it. Right? So this split could be, for example, trigger filter, contact property, or message engagement. If you do a trigger, you can add a trigger here, you guys could do like a cart subtotal. You guys could do whatever you want. You can view all of the properties, by the way, which there is a ton of them, like a ton of them. You could do contact or message engagement. Message engagement's a really good one. So click on this one. And for message engagement, you could say, did they open the message or did they click on the message? So click on open message, and then you have to select which one. It was an email, and then which email. Well, it's the only one that's above the split. So if they interacted with this email, right? Items in your cart selling out fast. Items in your cart selling out fast. So basically, click on save. If my condition says, if they opened this email, move on to the next email. But if they didn't even open this email, just end and don't waste any of our time, right? So that's a good example of a split. And you can get as complicated as you want with splits. Again, I'm not going to get into tactics and strategies on the correct split to use. I just wanted to show you how to use a split. You literally click on the split, and then you have to enter in your rules, right? Okay, so I'm going to delete the split. Delete, and we're going to delete the no path. And that should only delete this one and then continue. So delete, there we go. So this is our regular abandoned checkout. We have split. And then lastly, we have A/B testing, which is really cool. Watch this. A/B testing is identical to a split, except for you get to choose path A or path B. So it's not identical to a split because a split is yes, no. A/B testing is 50% of people get to try this email, 50% of people get to try this email. So you can choose, 30-70, 40-60, or 50-50, however many you want. Pick path A, pick path B. You can choose path A, choose path B, or just, divide. Click on update to save. Okay, so now you can't start the workflow with empty paths. So you have to add an email to 1, and then you have to add an email to 2. And then you would add an email right here. You create all this content. Click on this one, create all this content, okay? So maybe this one says, new succulents available. And then maybe this one says, get 10% off new succulents. And you're basically choosing to test which email does better so that in the future, you just delete the one that's not doing as well and you have a much better line, if that makes sense. So A/B testing is a really nice feature. If you don't know, or if this is your first time doing your emails, I would definitely use a lot of A/B testing. Throw out, 50% of your email list gets to try this email, 50% tries this one, and you just compare them and see which one does better. And then when you find that one does better, remove the split and remove which one's doing worse. So if B is doing worse, A is doing better, delete path B, and then just keep this email, right? But I'm gonna delete it. So let's delete that bad boy. You guys get the idea. But you have your trigger, and then you have your email, and then you can add flow actions. Do you want to wait? Do you want to tag? Do you want to split? Or do you want to A/B test? Okay, so you guys get the idea. Once you guys are done editing, you click on Start Workflow, okay? Now, here's the deal. Let me show you guys something really fast. We're gonna go back in, and we're gonna change this workflow from 11. Let's change this to 10, for example. Update. Okay, so once you make a change, it's gonna ask you to publish your changes rather than just update. So when you click Publish Your Changes, it's gonna ask a very important question. What do you wanna do with the people that are currently inside of the workflow right now? Because this could be working 24/7 on your website. You make a change to it. What about the people that are halfway through the workflow? They've already waited 10 hours and they're on the second email. Do you want to let them finish the current flow the way it is? Or do you want to exit them from this workflow and start over? You guys can choose. I'm just going to say let the current people finish, but anyone new has to go with this new 10 hours instead of 11. Publish changes, and now it'll do that for you, if that makes any sense. We can edit this one and I can rename it as well. So abandon checkout number 2, I just edit the name right here and I can remove the number 2. Update, publish changes, let them finish. And so now I've got abandoned checkout and it doesn't say number 2. Okay, so now you guys know how to do workflows, right? That's how you can do the ones that are customized immediately, the 2, right? But you can also click on create workflow and you can create a new workflow, right? What if we have a high order rate welcome email? This one has a phone, like a text message and an email, or just an email. Let's customize the workflow. So the second someone subscribes to the email, subscribes from the sign up form, or a subscription of any kind is set to true, which basically means if someone subscribes, regardless of how they do it, wait 1 minute and then send them an email that says, hey, welcome to CAPW Plant Store. Here's a 10% discount for joining. Really happy to have you. It's from us. That's what the email looks like. You guys get the idea. Start the workflow and boom. Now it's live on my website. So now if someone subscribes, they're going to get an email within 1 minute that says, hey, thanks for subscribing, get a 10% discount. And of course you guys can customize it to, instead of saying a discount, it can say whatever you want, but that's a good welcome email to have. But I'll just go ahead and delete this one for now. Okay. So you guys get the idea. That is how automations work. Next, we're going to talk about forms. Okay, so now we can talk about forms, which is the very next tab over. Bear with me. We're going as fast as we can. We've got audience and reports left, and then after that, we're pretty much done. Okay, so forms. Remember, campaigns are emails that you send without a trigger. It's just like, hey, notification. I got a new product, you should check it out, right? Automation is when you say, hey, you abandoned your cart, right? It's after a trigger. The client had to do something on your website and then automatically an email is going to be sent to them for something. Next, we have forms. Forms are going to be contact forms that pop up on your website that prompt people to enter their email and sign up for your subscription, right? So you can preview and launch the form. Click on it, and it's going to automatically generate a first one, which is get 10% off your first order, enter in your email. This is a very good option to have. I mean, if you go to any e-commerce store, I could open up Instagram right now, click on one of the links to go to someone's dropshipping store or something. I'm telling you, this is going to pop up. Some kind of a 10% off or a 5% off or 15% off if you just give us the email, because they know they'll make more money from you if they get their email. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just build a regular form. 10% off. Here's the email right here. And then the button is right here to submit the email. Okay, so you guys can change the text. You could say, instead of 10%, you could say 15%. You guys already know how to change the text. You guys know how to change the text here. You can click on the enter email button or the field, and you can change the placeholder text. So instead of enter your email, you could say, give me your email for 10%, whatever you want. You could add a label to it, which would pop up on top. Just like this, which I think is terrible. Just leave the placeholder, turn that off. You can say that this is a required field, which yes, it's required. If you want to get this link, you have to give me the email. And then the error message. So if someone does try to hit submit without putting an email, the email address must contain @ or a valid domain. Sorry, that's if they don't have an @ symbol in there. It'll say, hey, give us an @ symbol. This isn't a correct email. Okay, so that's everything inside of how to customize this one. Next, we have the button. So you click on the button. So when you click on the button, you'll see we have all of the button settings, right? If I click on this, we'll have the email settings. If I click on this, we have the text settings. You guys get it. If I click on the button, we've got the button settings. What is the button going to do? It's going to submit the form to Omnisend and collect their email into my Audience tab, right? So submit form. You can have it do something like go to a link, go, do whatever. Oh, you could also have it set go to next step. I forgot to say this. Omnisend is really cool. This can be a multi-step setting where, as you can see, step 1 is to get their email, and then step 2 would be get their phone number as well. But if you don't want step 2, because having a lot of pop-ups can get annoying, if you just want their email, you can literally click right here and say delete step 2. And so now we just have the form and then a success button, which thanks for signing up is the success button. This is like the timeline of your pop-up. Okay, so click on the button. You can have it go to the next step, but you would have to create a new step now, right? So just leave it as submit form. The text is get 10% off. And that's what it says right there. You can change this to get 10% off by giving your email, whatever you want the text to be. Button style is primary. You can change it to secondary. It'll look different. These are just layouts. Tertiary, which uses your gray. Just use the primary. It uses the correct color scheme and everything. You've got your button alignment, which is full screen, but you can center it. You can left it or right it, but make it full. I like full. Other than that, you have your layout settings. You can click on the box way out here. Instead of see how these little boxes, I can click on the full box and that's the whole layout. And this is where you can change the layout color if you want to. You can make the whole thing pink, for example. It's whatever you want to do. We'll just leave it as white. But that's the layout tab. Lastly, you have the behavior of this. So click on the gray area way out here, just anywhere out here. And you have behavior and theme settings. Theme settings are form layout. So you can change the layout of this stuff. You've got more, it's just style things for this. You got the button style again. So these are your 3 settings. Remember when I said primary, secondary, and tertiary button styles? You can customize what the button style looks like by changing all of your colors, your font, your, if it's Arial or not, right? So that's in your theme settings. You can change the field color, right? So it's using the gray for the text. The placeholder text is gray, label color is gray. I could change the label color to be something else. Change the placeholder text to be red, for example, or pink. You get the idea. Undo. Whoops. Okay, go back to theme settings, form layout. Not form layout. Oh, it's the background this. Here we go. Let's just change that to white. Okay, so click on the gray area out here. Theme settings. You have the field, which is the entire thing, but you've got, label, placeholder text, background color, border, all of that stuff, right? Okay. And then you have the close button, which is how you can customize this little close button right here. So they can close out of this and go back to looking at your website. So the close button, you can just change the color if you want. Okay, so those are the theme settings. Again, if you click out here in the gray area, you get behavior. And behavior is the most important part. Basically, how do you want this pop-up to behave on your website, right? So for behavior, we have audience management right here. So we could add tags for different clients and stuff like that. We have scheduling, which we can say always show the form, select a start date. So it only is going to show up after tomorrow or something, and I can choose my day to the 14th. Select an end date. So it's going to show up every day until this day. Or you can select a start and end end date, right? But I'm just going to say always show the form. So I want people to give me the email, get 10% off. Okay. Next we have display. Do you want to display on a page visit? So the number of pages the visitor needs to see before they see this pop up. And you could change this to 1 so that immediately when they see your homepage, this pops up. That's page visits. You could do time on the page. So the amount of time that needs to pass. So like I could say 3 seconds or 5 seconds, right? And then after 5 seconds of being on my homepage, this is going to pop up, and I'll just leave this one on. You can do scroll depth. So how far do they scroll down? So maybe you scroll 50% of the way down your website, right? So you scroll down, and then once you get to 50%, which is right about here, this would pop up. Or you can do exit intent. So if you turn this one on, which I like doing a lot, but it really pisses me off when other people do it because it's a personal preference. I can't stand when people do this, but exit intent means if I was going to be looking at a website like this, and then I move my mouse towards the exit button right here, or I move my mouse towards the exit button in the top left corner over here, if I have intent to exit, this will pop up. And I can't stand when people do that. But it is an option. So there you go. I'm just going to leave time on page. So after 5 seconds, this is going to display. Okay. So once you click on enable form and you've liked how you customized it, you're done. There's one last step to send a discount, which means you need to set up the workflow and create there we go. Let's just continue setup. It's going to automatically generate it. Use email only again, start workflow. It's going to automatically generate the email, show my workflows, and here's automation, which is the welcome number 2, but it just asked us to create welcome. So I just created it, but go back to forms. Okay, so now under forms, we just created the email and SMS branded multi-step welcome discount. This is that pop-up. As you can see, the type is pop-up. What happens if I refresh my page and I check this out? Well, watch this. I'm on the page, 5 seconds go by. Any day now. There we go. And now, as you can see, that banner popped up on my website. Isn't that so cool? And then I could enter in my email, create a pro portfolio, and then hit get 10% off, and that's going to submit to my audience tab. And so that's how you guys can get people to show up, right? So that's an example of a form. You could create as many forms as you want. You click on create form and you have a ton of different templates. You've got pop-ups that show up, right? We have banners, all these different cool pop-ups that you guys can use. You guys can decide, you can have some more complex ones where, as you can see, it says email, first name with the year, date, and stuff like that. But usually these are going to be pop-ups. You've got themes over here. Do you want it embedded? Do you want a pop-up? Do you want a landing page or a flyout? It's up to you guys. And then you have all these different form settings. Like you could do a Wheel of Fortune, for example, right? Where they hit send and then it'll spin on camera and then they can choose between like 3%, 5% discount, all that stuff. Teasers, you guys get the idea. Tons of promotional forms, but they're usually just pop-ups. So this would pop up on screen, pop up on screen. Anyways, that is how you guys can create a form for your website. So next, let's talk about audience. All right, so lastly, or not lastly, because last is reports, but you have the Audience tab. And the Audience tab is, again, just a list of all of the contacts that you have inside of your Omnisend, right? This is your email subscription list. This is your followers, right? People that subscribe to your website. We've got a list of their statuses, if their email is here or not, all that stuff, right? You can go over here to segments, because if you guys remember when we created that campaign and we hit send, it asks if we want to just send it to everybody willy-nilly, or if there's a targeted audience that we want to send it to. And that's what segments are. Segments are you categorizing groups of people into target audiences, if that makes sense, okay? So let's create some of those target audiences. Well, you click on create segment and it's gonna give you templates again, because Omnisend always gives you templates for everything and it's fantastic. So what would be a demographic of people that we could put into a category? Well, maybe one of them would be active email subscribers. Active meaning people who have opened at least one promotional email in the last 30 days. So if you send out a campaign, right, and it's about the new succulents, remember we just created that succulent campaign, and then someone opened it, they would automatically be thrown into this category. And then that way, the next campaign you write, you would say, instead of sending to all, you would say send to a segment, and you would say only send this one to the active people. And maybe you give the active ones like a better discount or something like that, just to encourage them to always check their email. But you're just creating categories of people based on their behavior. Watch this, window shoppers, that's another one. So subscribers who frequently visit your store but haven't placed any orders. So that's something that you guys would have to configure if you have a brick and mortar store, right? Deal hunters. So these are subscribers who have made purchases during one of your sales. So if you guys on your website, you had a sale going on where everything's 50% off or 10% off for Halloween or something like that, for example, then if you have those set up in your WooCommerce, Omnisend can automatically detect if your website has a sale going on, and it will know that people who made purchases during those sales need to be thrown into this category right here. Maybe they started checkout but didn't place an order. So this is the abandoned checkout category of your customers. You create this segment segment, and then you can email those people that all abandon their checkout and send out like another campaign that says, hey, the next time you put something in your cart, use this 10% discount so that you're more inclined to purchase, right? So all segments are, I want you to just remember this, anytime you see the word segment on Omnisend, just think it's a category of your clients or of your contacts, right? So let's just do one. Active email subscribers. Click on create segment, okay? It's gonna give you all of this information up here. Don't get overwhelmed. Just read through it and it's pretty intuitive to understand. It says all contacts whose subscription status, and again, you can change this, but everybody whose status is, or you could say is not, but everyone whose subscription status is subscribed to a certain email, who have or have not, you guys can change this, who have opened a message at least one time in the last 30 days. You can customize all of this. So you can say, I want people who are subscribed who have also opened a message at least once in the last 5 days, right? In the last 5 days. Or you could say, I want everyone who's subscribed and who has opened a message at least 2 messages. Right? You can say 2 messages. You get the idea. You can customize this to say whatever situation you want. Let's go back to 30 in the last 30 days. Let's go 10 days. But you guys can customize these conditions to be however you want. And then it will automatically filter all of your subscribers into this category if they fit. So let's say update segment. And you'll notice I only have one down here that's being affected by all of these categories. And it's my email because I'm the one that opened that last email. Remember when we went over here and I went into my spam and I opened this email, which is no longer there because I put it in my inbox, but it's no longer there either. You guys get the idea. It's automatically understanding that the other 2 example emails did not open a message at least one time in the last 10 days. But this guy did. In the last 10 days, he definitely opened 1. But if I change this to 2, watch this. Change this to 2, and then I update the segment, he's gonna disappear because I've only opened 1. Oh, well, I guess I opened 2 because there were 2 emails. If I change this to like 4, I get the feeling, I don't know. It might be based on open message, might be I opened the email 4 times, which I did click and open it like a couple times. But now, as you can see, it doesn't see any contact that opened 4 messages. So let's change that back to 1. Just wanted to show you that that's how you guys can see how many people are gonna be affected by all of these conditions. Now, obviously you would have a list of like hundreds of different people. So this list would be vast, but it just shows you that Levi Hagen fits into this category of active subscribers because he's a subscriber that subscribed and he has opened a message at least once in the last 10 days. Okay, you guys get the idea. I don't need to read through it again. You can also rename it. So instead of active email, you just, you can title this whatever you want. And this is an internal name right here. You can rename this so that when you go to your segment list, it would say that name right here. So you guys can title it whatever you need to help remember. But that's a segment. Let's create another one real fast. We'll create another segment, and this will be, let's go with disengaged contacts. So these are inactive contacts, contacts who subscribed earlier but haven't been engaging with your messages, right? And if we go back to my audience, you'll see that under my list, I have one that's subscribed and one that isn't, but both of these 2 are inactive. So now I'm gonna have a different example. You'll see in just a second. Watch this. Segments, create, disengaged. So the people that aren't really paying attention to my emails, inactive, create. Watch this. So I'm looking for, wow, that's a lot. And there's 0 on my list. But you'll see I'm looking for all contacts who are subscribed, right, to my email list. And the date of addition is not in the last 3 months. So maybe this is what I need to change. Let's say is not, let's just say is, I don't know, let's just say on the exact date after 11. And then let me click update, and that should show at least 1 contact right here. Oh, 0. Okay. Well, you guys get the idea. You would change your segments to target a specific amount of people. So you want to say, I only want people that are subscribed via email, and the date of addition was after the 11th, which was yesterday. So I was assuming today, because I added him today, he'd pop up, who have sent a message at least 20 times in the last 6 months, or I've sent a message in the last 20 times in the last 6 months, and they have not opened the message at least 5 times in the last 6 months. Change all of this to be all of the settings that you want. And then once you're ready, you click on update segment and it will be live. Okay. So you guys get the idea. That is how you can create segments of your audience. And so now, for example, let's go to campaigns real fast. Let's create a campaign. I'm just going to create a super fast one. So just bear with me here. I don't know. This is going to be terrible. Okay. Create our campaign name. Let's just call it for a test just to show you segments. Okay. We'll click on choose the email template. We'll just pick a random one, use this template. This is good enough. We'll click on save and choose my recipients. Now remember over here, we said all subscribers or choose a segment. Well, now there's 2 subscribers, or I could say choose a segment and I only want my active people to get this deal. And then I could say review campaign and send. And now only my active people are gonna get this deal that I created with this campaign. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And then we're gonna have to wait for this. I'm just gonna say cancel for now. Exit. You guys get the idea. That's why having segments in your audience is so important, because you can choose categories of people or groups of people based on activity when you're creating your campaigns. So if you want to target, your active people, give them a big discount, that's cool. Or if you want to target your disengaged people and give them a big discount to see if you can entice them to come back and spend more money with you, you guys can play around with your strategies. But regardless, that is how you guys can create your audience and create segments. All right, friends, finally we have the Reports tab, and this one I'm not going to spend too much time on because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to give you reports based on your objects. Now we have a campaign, right? New campaign and new succulents. And under reports, campaigns, you'll see new succulent, right? Because the other one's a draft. This one is a draft, right? It's not published. Okay. So under campaigns, we've got that one. Under workflows, we have welcome number 2, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout. We go to our workflows automation, welcome number 2, abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, right? So your standard reports would have been empty until you finally followed along with me in creating all of these different segments and automations and forms. And your reports are going to automatically be generated live to show you how your campaigns, workflows, and forms are performing. It's very standard. Your dashboard gives you a little overview, but the reports give you the detailed information. So under campaigns, I've got a 33% open rate. Click rate is 33%. I click on it and I can get my detailed report of every bit of information I need. The 24-hour performance right here, the device report. So it was all on desktop. No one looked at it on mobile or tablet because you guys were with me when I did it. I opened these emails on my computer. You can see the revenue that was gained. So for example, if I opened this email and then I used the discount code and went and bought a product, you would see the revenue that's generated, the order rate. So how many times people open this email and then actually go order something based on it. That's what the reports are for. You can go to your workflows and let's say we want to see the abandoned checkout. See how well it's doing. This workflow is generating this much revenue, this much cost, this much order rate. You guys get the idea. You basically just get a massive detailed report based on how your campaigns, workflows, and forms are doing. We can go to forms, and here's that email sign-up form, which has 0 submissions and a submit rate because no one's even touched it yet. Well, regardless, the pop-up would show up. I put in my email right here, and then I would have a submission right here on my report for the forms. Right. That's pretty much all you guys need to know. You've got the advanced tab right here where you can view pricing plans and deliverability. These are going to be with the pro plan, as you can see. So I'm not going to cover it today in the free plan. But that being the case, last thing I want to cover is if you click on your name over here in the top right corner, you always have the upgrade button right here. So if you realize that you're outdoing your, you get 500 emails, I've got 496 emails left out of the 500 that I get per month. And it refills every 30 days, right? So per month. I have $1 free of $1 for my SMS. Okay, so it tells you how many texts and how many emails you have left. Anytime you want to upgrade, you can just click on your name up here in the top right corner and upgrade to one of their plans, which again, you guys saw just a second ago, one of the options under reports, which is advanced and deliverability, those are going to only be available under the pro plan. So this is the email plus SMS pro plan. The standard plan won't even have that, but you guys get the idea. So there's your advanced reporting, by the way. Right? It's not even included in the email standard. So when you're under reports, advanced isn't included, but you guys get the idea. That is how you guys use Omnisend. And you've got all your tabs. And that's also how you can see how much stuff you have left, your account management, and you can upgrade whenever you want. All right, friends, with these Omnisend basics that you just learned, which was creating campaigns, setting up automations, building sign-up forms, audience segments, and then also analyzing reports, you now have the tools to elevate your email marketing efforts and pump up that revenue. If you have any questions or topics that you want me to cover in the future, like maybe advanced email marketing techniques or how to build your email list, then feel free to leave a comment down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video.